Hello and welcome to Loot Level Chat episode 3. My name is Adam Cook and you can see everybody here if you're watching the video version of this lovely, lovely gaming podcast because I am joined by Steve Chambers.
Hello.
Chris Hyde.
Hello.
Mick Fraser.
Hello, mate.
Wrong way. And
that
Lyle
right?
Pendle.
Hi.
Hi, mate. How is everybody this week? Is everybody good?
Yeah, grand.
Cosmic, mate.
Yeah, loving
Cosmic?
life.
Yeah, we're good.
Cosmic. Like, that's a thing, is it? Is that a thing you say now?
What the cool kids say.
It's what Rodney says on Only Fools and Horses. That's all I know.
I just wanted you to say that so that people would know the reference because it's like
Yeah,
it's
that's how old I am.
I'm Peng. That's how good I am.
sorry, you're what?
I'm Peng. Which one's good, Peng or Leng?
Peng is good.
Peng.
I know
They're
Peng is
both good.
good.
I'm both Peng and Leng.
And for those not watching the video, by the way, he wasn't like just suddenly really angrily shouting at us. He was talking to his kids. Like, if you
Mick
just listen to the
shouts at
audio.
House full of children.
No, it's
back
just
here
if you
that will-
just listen to an audio version, what you got was me asking, just saying, "What are you?" and then just suddenly really aggressively shouting, "Well, what is it then?" Anyway, we're going to talk about some game news this week. I'm going to be a little bit quiet because Steve wants to talk about this, don't you, Steve? Because you just watched this just before the
I
podcast.
literally just watched it and caught up, so...
Death Stranding 2 on the beach has a release date and just a little short trailer that everyone can watch now.
Yeah, it's a quick 10-minute, just slip it in now when you want to, it's good.
Has everybody
I
watched
can
it?
tell you now, it is jam-packed full of what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, so was
yes,
the
I watched
original,
it.
wasn't it? So was the Death
Yeah, I
Stranding
mean-
trailer was like that. It was just like, why has he got a baby? Why has he got a giant robot arm? Why is there black sludge? Why
Why are the
Mad
fucking
Mikkelsen in
crabs
it?
everywhere? Who knows?
Why is there a dead man called Dead Man?
Keep it simple.
I can answer that one.
No, you can't.
I can. I'm
Hey.
just not going to. What do we think? Excited?
Yeah, I'm well
I
up
am
for this now.
excited. Yeah, I will be honest. I am excited, and mainly because of the what the fuck stuff. Because Kojima does, if nothing, he's unpredictable, isn't he? Really, it's going to be weird. It's like all you can ever. Like Metal Gear Solid is his tame, normal stuff.
Oh, it certainly looks it now.
The best bit about that trailer for me was, and I'm going to be honest because I think it's important on this third episode of the podcast that we say we're going to be always honest.
Barefaced lying.
Yep, I'm going to be honest. Is I haven't watched the whole trailer because I'm just not. No, it's 10 minutes long. That's not a trailer. That's a short. That's like a. You know, there are episodes of Mick. What's that TV show on Amazon? The one.
Oh, Secret Level.
That's an episode of Secret Level. Like there are episodes of that
They
are
should do a
shorter.
Kojima episode of Secret Level.
They
They're gonna
don't
do it.
need to.
That would
He
be
does them
killer.
for them in these 10-minute trailers. Anyway, the reason I
He
mentioned
would
this
direct
is
it,
because
wouldn't he? He would have to. If they did it. If they used his
would
property.
do all
that.
but
it.
we'd never know because he
fucking
wouldn't tell
Produce
us.
it.
He wouldn't tell us. So how would we ever know? And I
He
raised
is
that
very
because,
modest and humble. Yeah.
Well, I raised that because when I did sort of skip through the trailer, it was about 8 minutes when I sort of thought, right, I'll watch the last 2 minutes because that's generally how long a trailer is. So I just watched the last 2 minutes of this, and it comes up with edited by Hideo Kojima, and I'm like, you didn't need to put that, mate. Because it's so
We all
obvious. I've
fucking
just
knew.
seen it's 10 minutes long. You didn't need to tell us that you edited it. We knew, and I knew before I clicked it. But anyway, it looks like more Death Stranding, which is, I'll say it.
It's weird though.
It's a
Death
good
Stranding-
video
Very
game.
bloody pretty, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but Death Stranding is something that I can be excited about, but not hyped for, because it's like, because so much of the first game was kind of really boring. Like it was really unique and it was really interesting, and it has some really cool moments. And I like the story, the acting, blah. It was really good. It's hard to describe why I liked it so much. When a lot of it, I was
think
just
it's
like,
quite relaxing. I
why
find
can't
that
you
game
climb
quite
up this
relaxing to
fucking
play it.
hill, Reedus?
Well,
why can't you
yeah.
navigate this fucking puddle, Reedus?
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
It's the slow burn of it, isn't it? That's what's appealing. You
Yes.
just get in there, get comfy with it, enjoy the world. You know,
Well, also
see
piss
somewhere that
away.
I've never visited and now feel like I've been.
I thought it was maybe like just me because it's like Postman Simulator, the game, isn't it? It's like Delivery Driver, the game, and I thought maybe I've sort of got a weird affection for it from my past life.
If that shit happens to you on a post round, mate, fucking hell.
Weirder stuff.
That's
You
been one
spent
stuff.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
25 minutes trying to construct something to climb over a small hill that you just can't see.
Did you often carry a ladder with you, Adam?
Yes. But
Yeah,
that
but
was
not
to
just
fight
like
off
not a
seagulls.
compact ladder that would be sensible that you could just extend. An actual fucking ladder coming out your back with all
Yeah.
the packages stacked up there.
Yeah, totally normal.
Like
totally normal.
anybody would in the given situation.
You know, that's
There's
normal
vehicles in that world and he walks everywhere.
Well, that's because the vehicles run out of power, don't they? frequently.
Except his bike, which you can use occasionally, sometimes.
Just like, look, I will be honest. Like, I'm excited to play it because
Just
I did
build zip
enjoy.
lines and break the game.
I did. Well, yeah, I did enjoy the first game quite a lot. Aside the story, which I didn't particularly care for. It just was nice to sort of wander around. Often there'll be like a beautiful bit of music that played, and like it's an enjoyable experience as like just playing the game is enjoyable. But like, I'm not really sure I'm looking forward to all the people going mad about how amazing the narrative is.
The thing is about Kojima is, I feel like Kojima just is one of these, because fair enough, you can call him an auteur if you like, but he's one of these people
like he is the definition of one.
But he can just, I think he just creates what he wants to create, and I think he deliberately does it so that people will look for deeper meaning. I don't think there's any deeper meaning in most of it. It's because he's so bad at subtlety. Like, he's really, really bad at subtlety.
What do you mean?
So isn't that the same kind of thing you can level at like the Souls games, though, to a given degree?
No. It's very different in a way, because the Souls games, they're obtuse. They give you, they're exactly the opposite. They're like, here's some random facts, piece together the lore, piece together the narrative on your own. Hideo Kojima is, like, here's a man who's dead, who I have named Dead Man. Here's a girl who doesn't talk, who I have named Quiet. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and so everybody, here's a girl who can't, whatever we call her, fragile. It's like, there's no deeper meaning. I don't think he's capable of deeper meaning. I think he's
trolling everyone. I'll be honest with you.
This is my point. I think he loves to sit and watch people make theories and come up with these things, and he probably sits there thinking, "I just fucking called him that because he's dead,
or because it's funny to me."
Yeah, exactly. I just think he's very, very clever, and he's very, very talented, and he could be a genius. But I don't think he's. I think people that spend their lives looking for deeper meaning in his work are probably wasting.
I tell you,
their time.
one of the reasons it sort of annoys me a little bit is because the part of the video game you are playing, right, the visual design, he obviously has part of that in terms of like dictating it, because he's the head of the studio, he's the creative mind behind the game. But in terms of making it look as pretty as it looks, there are so many people on the team that will do that. I always feel like it's kind of like going, just fuck. Whatever them, and I that's why I'm never a huge fan of this auteur stuff, because it's like game development is a collaboration between so many people on a team. I might be completely wrong, and I'd happily be corrected. Well, I will be corrected. Let's face it. But like, I think a lot of work from a lot of people goes in, and it's always that it's like.
Is it because he's so brave about putting his name on everything?
It does. It rubs me a little. Look, let's be honest. You guys know me quite well. It's kind of, we couldn't be more opposite in that respect, could we? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's like, my name, produced by my name. And it reminds me, like I said, of Stevie, what were we talking about the other day? Wrote the theme tune, performed the theme tune.
Dennis Waterman.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It does remind me a little bit of that. That like, it's like, but again, I don't know actually if he's doing that to be like, it winds people like me up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not important enough, but you know what I mean. There will be.
The thing is, I get the vibe. It's the discussion that it creates is ultimately what he likes.
Yeah.
Like he likes whether it's good or whether it's like people absolutely like getting so irate about all the auteur stuff, or it's like people just licking his ass, or anywhere in between.
Put his t-shirt on inside out for a photo shoot, that would generate fucking hours and hours.
Exactly.
Have I missed him doing
What's
that?
he hinting at? What's he telling us?
What could that possibly mean? It's the story of Death Stranding 2 inside out. I was like, oh, fuck's sake, right. The guy
he
just
could
can't
walk
put
around with
clothes
like a
on.
picture of some celebrity just on his arm, and that would be it. It would just be, and it's just
fucking news for days.
Can I ask a question before we move on?
Shit,
right? Because I haven't played Death Stranding, mainly because someone on this podcast didn't like it very much, so I decided to not play it.
Yeah, same with me, by the way, just so you know.
So, like, quite understandably, I watched this 10-minute clusterfuck of stuff and spent 9 minutes 50 seconds going, fuck does that mean?
No,
so everybody who played the first game, it doesn't make any sense.
So it's not like you go, okay, I know who that is, I know what they're referring to.
You can recognise a few characters, but
you didn't know like what the fuck it was.
I mean, I don't remember the two of them. I'm just sort of, just in case people don't want to know, but I don't remember the two of them being involved romantically in the first game.
Towards the end, aren't they?
Are they? I don't remember them being involved romantically. Maybe there was hints at it.
Sounds like you need a replay.
I can't remember.
Yeah, Lyle, do it.
Thanks, Lyle. Patreon only stream. Patreon.com/levelchill.
I was more interested in Mother anyway. I liked her characters more.
Which one was? See, you got the.
Did anyone else think that the pacing of that trailer, it felt like 3 separate trailers spliced
That's
together?
because it was.
I was like, okay, it's finished.
So
but hang
look,
on, it's still got 6 minutes to go, and then they just start again.
But in
and
the
then
other
the
game,
whole Metal Gear stuff at the very end, and I'm like,
a 10-minute long trailer of a video game that was mostly cutscenes, you would be like, wow, they've shown too much. But they will be so out of sequence and out of context of one another that really you've seen nothing. I mean, you forget in the previous trailers where it had a bloke with an electric guitar with the, you have to fight
him. But he said as well, didn't he, that the reason he put a Solid Snake, because the guy is Solid Snake, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
And he said the reason he put that in there was because he wanted an actor who could surpass Mads Mikkelsen. The only person who surpasses Mads Mikkelsen is Mads Mikkelsen tomorrow. I don't understand what he's getting at.
Yeah, see, that's another thing I don't get. But that reminds me of the whole internet thirsting for people, which feels like a very modern thing, like the Resident Evil vampire lady
Dimitrescu.
Yeah, that's it, Lady Dimitrescu. All that stuff. Like I don't get it. Look, I'm going to say it. I think it will be a very good video game. There we go. We've talked about it now. Fine, move on. No, I do. I think it will be a very good game.
It has some unbelievable looking environments, and they look way above and beyond what it was previously. Like that's what lured me in. Just looking
and that's saying something, right? Because that first one was
nondescript green hills can only take you so far.
Well, we're going to space now, aren't we? Or are we? I don't know. I don't know. It looks like it in the trailer.
The first game looks like you spend most of it in the north of Yorkshire, just climbing hills.
No,
everywhere.
Mick, it's very much
a great time.
Mick, it is America. It is an allegory for American communications, and I don't know what it is.
That's why the main character is very subtly named Porter Bridges, because he carries things and builds bridges.
You're such a cynic,
genius.
I'm trying to work out how we pivot from such a very serious discussion about Death Stranding 2 to the very comedic Wanderstop 2.
Let's talk about more games.
Wanderstop 2, yeah.
That is fucking seamless.
Yeah, that is it. That was a video game we talked about. Now let's talk about one we've been playing. I know you said this pork one we've been playing then, and that would have been...
Porkum.
Right, Wanderstop. Mick, you reviewed Wanderstop. Before we do jump into it,
I was going to say...
have you played any of it or not?
I have not, no. Too much going on, man.
So we're not going to jump in. I know you have. We're not going to jump into spoilers, but Lyle will love it. But
Lyle 100% like it.
Let's jump into it, Mick. Where you reviewed it, you loved it.
You don't know me.
Okay, I'll try and avoid spoilers then, because it's quite an easy game to spoil, I think. But I will do my best to skirt around the main points. So.
Well, you're doing a really good job just by hacking into them. I mean, that's totally covered it. Yeah. Fucking all the 90s comedy references now. You're doing Fast Show.
Okay, so
doesn't matter. Wanderstop.
Nice.
Yeah, and then they made me their chief. So yeah, the Wanderstop.
Come on, Wanderstop. Talk about the video game. Come on.
Yeah, Wanderstop. So Wanderstop's very good.
Okay.
Next
fair enough.
question. No, it's good. It's so Wanderstop is a game that is about. This is not a spoiler to say, I don't think. It's about burnout. That's what it's about. That's what the main theme of the game is about, burnout. The main character, and it's really cleverly done in a lot of ways. So the main character is a woman called Alta, who is depicted to be she's an arena. So this is the weirdest thing about Wanderstop. She's an arena fighter. That's what she does for a living, right? So she fights people with a sword in an arena. She's done this, the game tells us she's done it for 8 years. She's been undefeated for 3. And then she suffers a loss out of the blue. Somebody better, faster, quicker, never named. They don't focus on this person, but they beat her. And then she picks herself up. She tries again. They beat her again. She tries again. The next person beats her. So she keeps suffering these losses. And eventually she decides that the only way she can get herself back is to go and find this legendary swordmaster who lives on the other side of this dark forest and get this swordmaster to teach her better, like to improve her skills so she can go back and be the best. But on the way through the dark forest, she gets exhausted. She She can't keep going. She finds that eventually she can't even lift her own sword, which this is a sword she had custom made for her. She's been using it for years, but she can't pick it up. Literally, it falls to the ground. She can't lift it. It's like Thor's hammer. She cannot pick it up.
So
she
does she stop wandering?
She does.
Okay.
Cool. And then she is found and brought to the Wanderstop by this fella called Borrow.
Fuck.
Yeah, this fella called
Just
Borrow.
left that joke for 5 more seconds.
Yeah, this fella called Borrow, who runs a tea shop in the middle, in a clearing in the forest. He picks her up and he takes her to the clearing, and he basically says, "You can leave when you can leave." Right? So it's like when you can pick your sword up, when you can make it through the forest, that's when you're ready to go. So until then, you're stuck here. You might as well help me make tea and tend my customers. So she does. She hasn't got much choice. So she's quite reluctant about it, but she starts helping Borrow to collect fruit, tea leaves, run the place, clean up, make tea. She serves her customers. And yeah, it's really good. Like the whole thing kind of feels, I think the whole thing is kind of a metaphor anyway, because the world's really weird. Like I said, she's an arena fighter. That's what she does for a living. But also, there are cars and there are trains. And one character brings you a stop sign and tells you that he's an accountant. And whereas another character is a demon hunter. And it's so there's all these weird kind of characters that are thrown into this world, but it's very much seems to be our world, but with weird shit. So I kind of think the whole thing is she's just a person, really, who has hit a wall in her life, and it's represented by this burnout, by this dark forest. It's really clever. It's really well done. I think the writing's great. There's some fully voiced stuff that Alta does. So Borrow gets you to work, basically. He says you can do whatever you want. You don't have to do anything. The customers will come anyway. He says just sit down, do nothing if you want, but you might as well, while you're here, do this. So you get into the routine of sweeping up leaves, clipping the thorns. You've got these little seeds that you plant. When you pull your seeds out, you get like a hex-based floor pattern, and you have to plant seeds. And if you plant the same color seeds in a row, you get a certain type of plant. If you plant, say, a pink seed, a blue seed, then a pink seed, you get a hybrid. If you plant them in a fucking
dangerous,
yes,
yeah. If you plant them in a configuration,
flashbacks here.
Well, by about halfway through, you've got several different colours of seed, and all different combinations of them create different fruits. And the fruits, when you brew them in the tea, which is like this elaborate kind of thing where you have to climb up a ladder, fill this massive jug with water, heat it with a bellows, release it, put a fruit into the infuser, pour it into a cup. And but every fruit that you get elicits a different emotion in people. So it's not just like this is this flavor. It's like this is this coffee. This tea tastes like your favorite childhood cereal. This one tastes like the first day you met a friend. This one tastes like it's like it's got these sets. So what you do is, as Alta, not only do you make tea for the people that come in. And some of them do get a bit complex later, but not only do you make tea for the customers, but if you wander out and sit down on one of the benches and just drink the tea yourself, she regresses back through memories. So she'll have a memory of when she was betrayed. She'll have a memory of her parents. She'll have every time you sit and drink a new flavor of tea, you get a little bit more of Alta's backstory, and you start to piece together that she had a rough childhood, but she threw everything into
sort of was one of the
her
few
career
bits that
and
fell a little flat for me because so there's an early sequence where you have to make it's not beetroot, but it sounds like vitru or something, or vitro tea,
yeah.
And you make that. And I think that no, it's not that one actually. It's the it's that's the one that the sort of one that looks like a raspberry-ish sort of starfruit thing. You make the tea and then you go and drink it, because I think every time you make a new tea, you're supposed to go off and drink one yourself afterwards. Just get a little bit more dialogue, a little bit more narrative. And then the person who wanted that tea came back and said, actually, it's not really a spoiler. Here's my son's favourite jam. Can you put that in there to sort of make it flavoured? So I added that, and I thought, well, I'll do the same thing. Then I'll have a bit. It's a different tea. Ultimately, that is a different tea. It went off, and then you get the same dialogue.
Yeah.
And I thought, and then I did the same thing, but with another one where you have to the second time add mint to it, and it's like this, so it does teach you you just have. It's one story per.
You drink the fruit. It's that first time you have that fruit flavour, but it's. But occasionally, just occasionally, also, it just goes really dark. Like it just goes really dark. All of a sudden.
This is why Mick likes it. Okay,
yeah, and
okay.
I really can't spoil any of that. But there are several moments through the narrative where you kind of have to go, and you reach a point where you keep serving people. So you'll get one or two customers will come in, like you get the knight who wants the Azzy berry. Then he shows you a picture of his son. He reveals that he's becoming a knight to impress his son, who thinks he's lame, but he's been cursed by a witch, and he kind of makes fun about it, and he's really zany. But then he starts to get more and more sort of withdrawn into himself, and then eventually these characters just won't speak to you. So you'll go up to them, you'll expect the dialogue, and you get just nothing, and they won't talk. And then that really freaks Alta out. And this is kind of always the point where Borrow tells her, well, it's time to move on now. So then you have a little meditation thing, you get a new season. And it starts again. So you get some new fruits. It's like a little bit like a roguelite. All your seeds, everything disappears. You start afresh. You go get the seeds. You get more fruit. Every time you unlock new combinations, new things to make, you get different customers. Sometimes you get returning customers. But like I said, every now and again, there's just a little thing. Like there's like a stark revelation, or there's like something where it's like there was one or two bits where I was like, fucking hell, I didn't expect that. I didn't think that was coming, like what happens or what Alta tells you. And it's not crazy, it's not anything crazy. Like I believed all the way through it that it was going to go really dark by the end. I had it in my head that it was going to go, like, I won't say it because it would spoil what it isn't, but I thought it was going to get real dark at the end. But it doesn't get real dark. But it's still got a nice twist. It's got a good payoff to what's going on.
It's one of them games that, like, I know it has an ending because you've told me it has an ending, and I know, like, from the publishers saying, like, you know, it's X hours long. But it's one of those where you start, when you're playing it, you're like, it doesn't actually feel like it feels more like it, like Chris, you mentioned Animal Crossing. It is that sort of thing where you're like, this just is, I just play this forever. But it is an enclosed narrative-based story. Steve, you've been playing it too.
You get like the relaxed Stardew vibes on it as well.
Yeah, I mean, what are your how far? I mean, I'm the bit that Mick just mentioned. That's how far I am into it.
Yeah, I've only put a couple of hours in so far, so I've got through the initial story beats that Mick was saying about and things. It has got the most satisfying tea making operation I've ever played. It's weirdly tactile for what you're doing. It's like, you know, keep the button up, keep pressing the button to keep the bar in the right place to heat things up. You'll go down.
It has an accessibility options. You can change that to a hold as well. By the way.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I think,
yeah.
Great if you like accessibility issues, but when you're doing it, it just feels right. You just
no, I agree. I'm just saying if it's a thing that people listen to go, no, I can't do that.
So I've only seen maybe the first 2 hours of this so far. And I was very much getting, like you say, the relaxed vibes of, this is going to just settle into a routine for a while and go as long as you want. Obviously, it's not. It's far more narrative driven than that from everything I know from what you told me. So it's definitely one I'll keep coming back to as well. I didn't expect to like it as much as I do.
No, neither did I.
I'll give it a go, see how it goes. And I'm like, ooh, okay.
Yeah. And some of the characters are really interesting. Like some of the customers that come in are really, really quite strange. And some of them even like kind of evolve and change with you, and it's not change with you. They change because of you, like you affect their path. And I don't think there's any choices to it. You have to do it a certain way. If the customer wants a certain drink, you make them a certain drink. Like you have to kind of do that. There's no fail state. If you get it wrong, they just say that's not what I ordered, and you go and do it again. There's no time limit. It's completely stress-free. You can't ever really. I did have a weird point where I ran out of seeds. Yeah, during one of the seasons where I just couldn't find a pink seed to make a certain fruit. And in the end, I just had to keep going around clipping thorns and sweeping up leaf piles until I randomly found one, which I realized then afterwards that you can avoid that easily by just making a stockpile of seeds right at the beginning. It takes like 10 minutes, so you've got all these seeds.
There is more to it. Like I think we haven't mentioned, like, you know, you can get a camera to start taking photos after a while, and you get you find random presents on the floor that you put in a post box, and then all of a sudden there's a lot more to it. I think we're not going to obviously go into like every single mechanic, but there's a lot more than you would expect. It is
because you decorate the Wanderstop with pictures that you take or that people give you as a reward for things, and sometimes people will make you things. They'll say, "Oh, I made you this," and like every now and again, you'll find like a little circle of mushrooms, and if you put a certain whatever random color seed you put in the middle of this circle of mushrooms produces a different ornament that just sits there for the rest of the game.
Right, I've been wondering what you do with the mushrooms. I've been picking them up. So.
No, there are other mushrooms that so there are other mushrooms in it that so there's one that will make so you know how you make a fruit bush and it's massive.
Yep.
If you configure the certain type of mushroom around the bush, it shrinks and you can put that in a drink. The whole bush.
Child. Too much bush discussion.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some little things like that. Like there's one that will just so you've got all these. So you've got I don't know how many different fruits there are. There's a lot.
Yeah.
But then you can also get these particular mushrooms that again, if you configure around the fruit bush, will change the color of it. So then you've got a different ingredient of fruit as well to put, which is it's the same fruit but it's a different color. And some customers, so a lot of it, you could spend a lot of time. It took me about 10 hours to get through this, and you could spend a lot of time working out what people want because they'll just say, I want a tea that makes me think of home, blah blah blah, and I'd really like it to be cinnamon flavored. So you got to go into the field guide, find which fruit is cinnamon flavored or which seed makes cinnamon flavored this, and so then you concoct all this stuff. Or if you don't want any of the stress, you just go upstairs to the library and there's a book which is literally called the Book of Answers, and if you open it, it just tells you outright. It just will literally say on the first page, do this, and then give it to them. And it's so like if you do which I did start to use by the end because I was like, how the fuck what do you like? There was one person that wanted like a really strong coffee, but mixed with like a really weak coffee, but then also mixed with like a particular fruit, all in the same cup. And I was like, I don't even know, I don't even know how to make the first part of this. So I got the Book of Answers, and I expected it to give you like a vague hint, but no, this is how you do it. I was like, okay, fair enough. So it's really stress free.
That's the way to do it.
If you really want it to just be stress free and enjoy the story, it's a different way of doing a difficulty, I guess, because there's no combat in this. It's not, it's not an action game. So, but it is a very clever game, and it's lovely. It's really lovely. I really like it.
It is worth mentioning before we sort of move on as well. It's a beautiful looking game, and the soundtrack, it reminds me slightly of the Breath of the Wild style thing, where it's quite sparse, and then suddenly you get this dissonant single note piano, and you're like, oh shit! Oh, it's just part of the soundtrack.
It feels like a Brian Eno soundtrack to me, like walking around, so you see a little bit of ambience kicking through as you're wandering around the gardens.
I think it's the composer of it was something to do with Minecraft, and my memory fails me.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
C418, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's
You're right.
Quite a famous composer. Because it's also by I don't know if this makes a difference to anybody, but it's the guy who started the studio that made this game is the guy who did the Stanley Parable.
That's right, and also if it will just to add to that sort of. I don't know, the cherry on the top of the cake, it's published by Annapurna, which is usually a sort of good sign.
Yeah, Annapurna are pretty good sign of quality these days, Annapurna.
Well, since we've had a good chinwag about Wanderstop, let's ask Lyle what he's been up to in this weekly corner of What's Lyle been up to?
What's Lyle been up to? It's that time again, folks. I've been up to quite a lot, really.
Yeah, let me rephrase it. What have you been up to that you can talk about?
Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, good. Not the secret crimes I've been doing.
I was going to say I just made you sort of sound like a massive sexual deviant. I meant what games? What games you're allowed to talk about?
It could have been any kind of deviant. You added the sexual yourself.
That was for your benefit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been playing, as I've been excited about for a long time, Atelier Yumia. Because
please use the full title, Lyle. I mean,
don't make me do it. Don't make me Google it.
I'll do it. The Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land.
Of course, it's the Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land. Damn it! I've been making this easier on myself because I have. When I went to the press event to cover it, they gave me a little notebook that has its logo on, so I get to just read it and always know what it is normally, but it's downstairs. So yeah, okay.
We can just call it Atelier Yumia,
and we will.
We will.
So yeah, the latest Atelier game. I've liked them for a long time now, a really long time now, a stupidly long time now, because this is like the 26th or something stupid. I can't remember. Loads of them. But this one is, so they've kind of done a lot different with this one in that they've made it the most open, I think, of any of them by a lot. So it's got a massive fucking world, and the whole like loop of an Atelier game is that you go out into the world, you'll fight some monsters, you'll gather some materials, you'll use those to do alchemy to make loads of different things, like things you'll use in battle, equipment, or just, bits and bobs you might need for the story, or like, metal bars that you might need to make something else. So you get your materials, you make things out of it, you become stronger because you've made these things, and then you go back out there, you fight more things, and it goes around over and over again. That's the loop. That's how it works. And it still does that, and it does it really well, but it does it in a much more like exploratory way, in that like you will, at the very start of the game, you can't go everywhere because obviously, there's some blocked off bits that you'll need to story your way to, sometimes, not always, all that sort of thing. But like wherever you go, there's like a million little hidden things to find. There's like a tiny little weird cube on a tree, and if you shoot it, then you'll get a certain amount of skill points and certain bits you can use to upgrade a thing. Or you'll go to one area and you'll find a chest that's locked, and you've got to there's little hidden buttons that you might need to press to get it to open and stuff like that. Like every corner of this world is full. Like if you zoom in on the map already has quite a lot of icons on, but when you zoom in, you really see like all the icons, and most of them are just question marks, and they are everywhere. No matter where you go, there's something to find. Not always stuff you need, and to be fair, you're basically free to ignore as much or as little as you want, because I wouldn't say the game definitely amps up in difficulty, but I would say that you don't need to like find everything at all to do, everything. But it's always a satisfying loop, and I think what makes it more satisfying this time is it's a big, gorgeous world. It's a step up visually than the other games have been, and then even stuff like the Gathering is just so tactile in that, like, it's not necessarily like it's just that you have to press a button to pick things up, but like there's something about that repetitive motion of just grab this, and you'll do it like every time you go out for like 15 minutes before you go back to your workshop. You'll have like 200 ingredients by the time you get back, like without fail. And then there are some that you gather because like it's a rock on a cliff, and you just shoot the rock, and then you've gathered the rock, you shoot it, and it's in your bag. I don't know why, you just do. It's just how you get it. And like you can go so deep into all these things. So like there's the combat of the game, which is like the most actiony it has ever been for the series. So it's sort of like you have a bit of free movement in that, like you can move around a little area, you can do little dodges to dodge attacks, stuff like that. But all your attacks, like they're attached to each of the face buttons, and you sort of chain them together as you go. So it just in real time, there's no waiting around, there's no just sitting and choosing commands. It's just like bash out these buttons. You have the option when there's like a big attack coming to sort of zoom out to the long range mode where you'll shoot with your gun instead of using your melee abilities. And as you progress, like I got a big new combat edition that changed the way I fought like 25 hours in. So it keeps going, and each character has like little things that make them different. Like Yumia herself, like every time you use items, it will power up certain attacks as you go on, and you can switch between like a whole party of 6. You always have 3 in, you can tag in and out at any moment. There's a lot of depth to it. You don't really need the depth for like the first 5 hours. So that's something I was confused about, because like it's really weird because it starts off really slow in terms of difficulty, like everything's a cakewalk. Like it's not even that it starts. Go on, sorry. And it's not even that it starts off slow. It's like it starts off and you get into a fight, and about 3 seconds later the fight's over. So you've not really learned how to fight. But that's the thing. And then it adds these 2 characters that you've been sort of messing around with in your party already. They've been with you. Now you can suddenly control them, and it does that thing a little. It reminds me slightly of Tales of Arise in that it's like, well, why would, or even. There are other games that do it. I mean, Final Fantasy VII remake, not Rebirth, because I found I played different characters in Rebirth a lot more. But it does that thing of like you can switch to these. It's like, but why would I? And I'm guessing that's something I need to play further to. It is, but also at the same time, if you don't ever want to play as any of them. You don't have to. There's no real worry about okay, I did switch between people every so often because it's like I was like, well, I've equipped this item to this person and I know it will be good now. Because how it works in the Atelier games is that like you'll equip like combat items, you know, like sort of like bombs you throw, that sort of thing. Like fun fantasy grenades of different types, but they're like a plant or something. But like how it works in the Atelier games is that these don't get like consumed in battle because you're an alchemist, so you just sort of have an infinite supply because you just sort of make them with magic and like grass. So like
my grenades are made from magic and grass.
Yeah, exactly.
They are, but yeah.
They are, yeah, and so like you get to it's not the sort of game where you have to worry about your resources because you sort of always have infinite resources. The alchemy is kind of what do you think of the alchemy?
That's not fair. I don't think I've played enough. Genuinely, I think it's. It seems, and again, this is definitely something you can say if I'm right or not. It seems ridiculously deep if you want it to be. And I will defend a little bit of what I think of the alchemy. I say, and I don't think there's a tutorial in the land that's been devised yet that could adequately get you to go through the tutorial section and be like, got it all, perfect. I know what I'm doing now. Because after the tutorial section, I did some alchemy of my own volition, and then I did some more, and I was like, there is a button there I can click that just says automatic, and I might just start using that because
like that automatic button's always there, and I've never played an Atelier game where I haven't used it for like at least 50% of the game, because it's not that I don't enjoy the alchemy, but sometimes you'll go back to your base and you'll have like 10 new items that you can make now because you've got all these new materials. And like if you really trying to do your very best min-maxing, I want the highest quality, most powerful thing you can get, like you can spend like 5 minutes on each one, maybe more. And if you do that for every single item you can craft, like I was only like 10 hours in and I had a page of like 60, and some things you want to make more than one because like, I want everyone to have a wind grenade flower. So
and that's before you get into the base building.
Obviously.
And that's before you get into the base building,
which also confused me with the tutorial, if I'm going to be completely honest, because early on the base building's taught you in a very sort of safe way that you can't do too much. I'm talking before you even get to the proper base building where you're actually building a base. I just mean the bits where you can put down new equipment and stuff. And in that room, what's the second? There's like another desk you put down that lets you do something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's like put down the other type of desk that helps you.
But what it
remember
hadn't told me is that you had verticality. So I put this desk down and I'm like, it don't work. Nothing's
It's like a little plank in the floor.
It was like it looked like I'd put down like a bit of wood on the floor. It didn't work. And then I went to put another one down, and I must have had a different angle, and it was green, and it was up in the air. And I was like, oh, but when I had to lift it out right, so I did that, and now it works. But I don't remember it ever teaching you that. That was just like
I did the exact same thing at the preview event, and I'm glad no one was looking.
Yeah, well, yeah, easily done though.
Lyle, quick one for you. What's like the narrative vibe for this game then? Because I'm just imagining plucky character saves the world. Is that what it's because I literally have no history with these games at all.
Yeah, so it's kind of there are sort of two sides to it, because these games are always like kind of chill as fuck in that you don't really need to, like, there's never something that's like, oh, the world's ending right now, so you need to rush and do something. It's like, go off and collect some flowers if you want. At some point you'll get to, explore a new area. There's not really like, there's not a level of peril of like impending doom is right now, but there's still like an overall like, oh, there are some bad characters, we'll get to them as we explore. The characters are still quite plucky. There's an element of pluck, and there's also an element of fan service, shall we say.
I would also recommend, if you're interested in these games, don't go on the internet looking for stuff about them.
Oh yeah, Rule 34 strong with this.
Yes. Yes.
Hang on a second. They didn't need to make a rule for these games.
No, I'll send you a list of what to avoid.
I think also it's worth mentioning that they absolutely know what they're doing as well when they design the characters in these games.
They do, yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, there is a darkness though, like Adam was saying. Like whereas in most of these games, you're like this because alchemists in the world of Atelier are like usually these magical, helpful people that communities are like, oh my god, we have this alchemist. Like they'll help us make things. Everyone's happy and loves you. And in this game, as like something they've not done before, is like basically like alchemy at some point completely fucked up this world, and like most people hate alchemists. So you spend most of the
Yumia has got patience.
She does. She has patience with literally everyone, like being like, "Oh, you're fucking horrible. I will never want to talk to you." And she's like, "Well, what if I'm really nice and kill like 20 monsters for you when you're almost dying?" And then they're like, "I guess I'll accept you being in my vision then."
You're allowed to live in the same world as me now. Yeah.
But what if I put this fucking flower grass bomb through your letterbox, bitch? That's what you wanted.
That is Yumia is not that sort of person.
She's not swearing at anyone.
She's not swearing.
They never are, though, are
That was
they?
far too aggressive, Mick.
I've played a few Atelier games like a long time ago now. I know what I played because I had to look it up earlier before we had this conversation because I couldn't remember. And it was Alchemist of the Dusk Sky. I can't remember what the Atelier, who it was. Atelier
One of
someone.
them.
And the other one was Atelier Rorona.
Yeah,
and Atelier Rorona Plus. I think it was about 10 years ago.
But this is the first new protagonist and sort of one in the series in a while, right, Lyle?
Yeah, that's right. So the last 4 entries of like new entries of the series were there was 3 games that were Riser.
Riser
was the one who had she had the big thighs that grew every game.
I mean, they've all got big thighs, Lyle. Let's not pretend.
But that was like her like important feature. Okay, that was what Riser was made for. And then in the middle of that, there was Sophie. They did a sequel of Sophie 2, which was like a weird sequel to a game that was like a decade old because like the fans sort of wanted it, and
of course
they were all really good.
What was her feature, Lyle?
She actually wore quite a hidden like robe thing that you didn't really see much. I mean, I'm sure there were outfits that were
they must have done one with feet. There's got to be one.
There'll be fan art. There'll be fan art. You just got it. They don't even need to. They just put a character in a robe and somebody will draw it for them.
They will, yeah,
and then get hired if they're lucky.
Probably,
exactly.
Do you like it, Lyle? I feel like we haven't asked.
Oh yeah. I really like
it a lot.
I really like the loop of it. I really like just exploring the world. I think especially like if you're like the very start of the game, I think sort of hinges on you enjoying the exploring and the getting new materials and sort of that loop, because I don't think the combat really comes into its element right away. And then once you get that little bit further, it just all clicks, and I think it gets really good. I'm really, really enjoying it. Well, I have really enjoyed it.
Yes,
it. I'm done with it now. But I'm not really.
By the time people read, by the time people hear or watch this, they'll presumably be able to see a score in it, which we won't give away.
They will. They'll be able to look at all of that by then.
All of that stuff. Yeah, I thought of a transition then to for Chris, and then in my head it was too mean, so I bottled out of it. I was just going to ask, so what are you banging on about this week, Heidi?
What's that? Sorry.
I was going to go, what have you been banging on about this week, Heidi?
No, I was just going to say, before we move on, I just don't know. This game scares me.
Yeah, I don't think you... Well...
Ooh, yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Because I've seen the videos that you guys have done, and there's just fucking shiny shit everywhere, and I just don't... I'm like, I'm like a magpie. I can't...
Yeah, but I think there is...
And if there's something kind of map as well...
Suck it all.
There's a question mark on a map.
There is shiny shit to a degree. Lyle, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this.
And every area on the map gets its own little like exploration guide where you have like a checklist of like 100 things that like you do in each area.
And if it's got a percentage on it, that's me done.
Yeah,
he's already behind the desk without his hands.
Yeah, no, that's. I think it would be the end of Chris Hyde. Like,
don't think it's the right time. Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's
Make
very
it your
possible.
Christmas game, Chris, when you've got a bit of time.
Mate, there's already about 6 Christmas games I've already got, and it's March.
But what have you been banging on about this week? What are you going to bang on about this week?
You just stop
What
talking.
are you fucking going about? What you got?
I know what you're talking about, and I just can't think.
He's already bored of it.
I have been playing
Speaking
a good
of
game with a cunt. right? So this week,
I didn't know you'd been playing it with Steve as well.
no, I haven't. I've only been playing it with the
Fucking shade, man. Unbelievable.
mate. He knows he's a cunt. So I've been playing Split Fiction.
Yes.
So
So's Lyle, by the way. So it could have been
I have,
him.
yeah.
You really
I'm
missed
not
an
going to play
opportunity.
with Lyle.
No, but you could have. You could have then. You had the opportunity, is what I'm saying, and you've
I play with
schooled me
Kudz. I'm
instead.
not playing with Lyle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's one step too far.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
So
Split Fiction.
I mean, how much have you played, Lyle?
I think I'm quite close to the end. I am
Okay, so you've
stretching.
You've played more than me and the cunt then. So you started it. You know,
Yeah, I
can't handle the heat.
We'll
Get
not
out.
fucking finish it, sunshine and all.
What was that? What reference was that?
It wasn't a reference. It was me
just
just
a fun
copying it
one.
up to be like
Oh.
big and
Aggressive
scary.
copy.
Oh, fucking finish it off, son. Yeah, go on.
So I mean, Split Fiction. I mean, essentially, we're going to try and not spoil it because I know Mick, you're really keen to play this, right? So I won't spoil what I don't need to spoil.
Also waiting for Christmas at this rate, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all know what to expect going into this on the back of It Takes Two. And from what Adam and I have played, I'll use his proper name from now on.
Lovely.
I was hoping for, I guess, more of It Takes Two in the sense of how it made me feel as I was playing it, the surprise, the joy, the kind of new experiences, the cleverness, the variety, and that's exactly what you get with Split Fiction. Honestly, it's like same but different. It's the same feeling in the sense of, you know, the different experiences, the different environments, the different sort of powers and cooperative nature of it, the little quips and banter and stuff like that. But it doesn't just feel like It Takes Two, like DLC or something. It's its own kind of game and its own sort of setting.
It's more action oriented, right?
So that is a good thing. I was going to mention that actually. The pace of Split Fiction is faster than It Takes Two. It Takes Two, there were some quick sections in it depending on the type of style of gameplay of the moment in It Takes Two, but a lot more of them in Split Fiction are faster paced, require quicker reflexes, I would say, to get through even some of the like platform and stuff.
I do think it's a more difficult game.
It's a little bit
Is
of
it
a
a more gamers version of It Takes Two?
It is, but it's incredibly forgiving with its kind of coming back to life. So essentially, as long as one of you's still alive and the other one's kind of hammering a button to get back in, you stay in. A bit like, you know,
it's the Mario bubble.
Which Mario is it where you come in on the bubble?
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing, right? So it's like as long as one of you still are, because so like one of you dies, like Adam, don't die.
Yeah,
but
that's what gets shouted every time.
So it's so it is difficult. You do need to have, you know, like I couldn't play this with Matilda. Like she wouldn't.
I don't think she'd be able to do it.
No, she wouldn't be able to do it.
It would be generous and it would keep letting you come back to life, but you'd never progress it.
Yeah, but it's not difficult. We weren't ever banging our head against a brick wall going, we can't do this. It's more the case of, you know, in some games you'd be like, I've just beat that section first time. I see it coming, know what I've got to do, and I do it first time. Like, whereas there's quite a few examples initially like, oh fuck shit, you want me to do that? Right, okay, right. I'll just respawn and do that now the second time. Now I know what it wants me to do. And some of the timing windows, you know, we were doing something earlier, Adam. Some of the timing windows are quite precise where you co-op in. So sometimes that means you have to restart because, oh shit, no, I've got to move quickly or whatever. But I mean, Adam, you were saying when we played on our first session, it just makes me chuckle and laugh and smile. It just, you know, I don't mean to do it, you know. I quite like coming across as an aggressive, miserable cunt.
Yeah,
like,
quite a lot
often in my life.
It's dragged you out of yourself then.
So so it's like this is kind of like it's very natural and organic joy because it just there's so many little references and like in It Takes Two, there's so much extra shit on the side of levels that don't need to exist.
Yeah.
But just so you could just go over there for 5 minutes, piss about, and then crack on with what you're doing. And like,
is that like the little mini game stuff that was there?
Yeah, there's loads of random shit like that. And like we were saying as well, this I think almost all of the trophies in the game are rewarding you for just trying stupid, and I mean stupid stuff.
Yes.
Like just dicking around stuff. And like we're literally like, fuck it, we're not trying it for the trophies, we're trying it to see what will happen, and then occasionally us dicking around rewards with the trophy. You're like, yes, that's what, and it's so it's just I was so happy because It Takes Two, I'd not played anything like It Takes Two really. I think that was a proper step up. It's difficult for me to pick between the two at the moment because I'm not played enough of this, but I'm so happy to play it. I like it because it's just, it takes me back to how I felt then. So many surprise. You get a new different type of, not even like a new sort of story area with new powers, but a new subsection of that, which is completely different as well. And it's, you get into it, you're like, oh shit, it's this. Okay, great. That's completely different. And it's like, you realize you've just spent the last, you're playing for 20 minutes and you've played 4 different types of like gaming experiences. All of them have been really quick, well paced, exciting. You're smiling while you're doing it, and you've probably dicked around a bit as well. And it's just such a lovely, like, compendium of gaming that's done so well, so tight. I really enjoyed what I've played.
Remind me of the studio. I know it's Joseph Fares.
Hazelight.
Yeah. So it's weird because do you remember and those of us a certain age, probably maybe not Lyle because I think he's still quite young compared to the rest of us. But do you remember that back in the day when it was who were the guys that made they made Psychonauts? Ron Gilbert, and
are you talking about like the LucasArts days, or are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm going back. I'm going back there. Double Fine. I'm going back to
right.
Yeah, I'm going back to that, and my mind's gone a bit blank. But I'm going back to when like those games. You remember when games were made to be fun? Do you remember when games were made because somebody wanted you to have fun with it?
Yes.
Not because necessarily. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hazelight, by now they're making their money, right? They're very good at what they do. They're very popular. But I genuinely get the feeling. I didn't so much get it with A Way Out because that was a different kind of situation. I didn't get it with Brothers either because that was like at the beginning of this. But
I do think Brothers was a great game, by the way. I feel like that's not technically Hazelight, I don't think, but it was Fares.
No, but it was Joseph Fares, wasn't it?
I think A Way Out is the very much the low end of that graph for me personally.
But I do think with It Takes Two, I haven't played Split Fiction yet. My daughter's dying to play it. I've got it. We're gonna play it.
There's no way in the world in which you liked It Takes Two, you will not like this. There's just
100%.
I just think it's just really nice, and I know there are still some people. I'm not being all cynical about it and saying nobody makes games to have fun. They do, but not on this level of studio making a game just to bring people joy.
I think what it is that we've got to the point where video games are such big business now that there is an element, and this is not me casting dispersions at all, but like there are elements sometimes in video games where you can feel this game was made by a committee of people.
You see that loads.
Yeah, you know it, and it doesn't mean they're bad because like I enjoy games like that. But then there are games like this, and it's not the only one. And I can't like right this instant think of another one. But when a game is made by someone,
is a great recent example of it as well.
What I was going to say is it's made by a group of people who actually play video games definitely the way we play video games because they love video games, and you can tell that simply by fact of, like Chris says, when you wander off the beaten path and you find something, they've put it in there for no other reason than they know that other people will go looking for
over there,
and then be like, well, why doesn't that work? It should work. Why put it in the game if it doesn't work? And that limits your scale and scope a little bit, but it also means you can make these articulated worlds that are beautifully rendered, but also they all work as you would expect them to work. And I also think they learned a huge lesson from A Way Out, because the reason A Way Out, when you really think about it, it's a similar style of game. You got the split screen, you got it moving around, and all sorts, but it doesn't work because it's too real. It's real human beings in a real situation. And then they went back to like the fantasy thing of It Takes Two and then Split Fiction, where they can do anything. They are not forced to go, well, we can't just suddenly be flying or going through a portal because that's just a real human man or woman. Like, it doesn't work, and that's why I think they're very clever about going. Because I wondered that. I wondered if the jump from It Takes Two, which is so obviously sort of narratively fantasy stuff, I wondered if by going for two real human women, if you know what I mean, would make it be a little less fantastical. And in actual fact,
no,
it's not the case at all.
No, it's not. And in the same way as well, like in that sort of difference from A Way Out, it's like them being more fantastical means that the co-op gameplay parts of it aren't like you have to like stealth around people or climb up a ladder. They're like this, you're suddenly playing like, I mean, from the It Takes Two side of things, like suddenly it's Diablo, suddenly it's a shooting game. Like, you know what I mean? They have so many different, like it's so much easier to do the variety when everything's so much more fantastical. And
like that Diablo moment, I literally remember when Chris White and I were first playing it. He was playing it for review and we were playing through it together, and I remember when that moment comes up and we both just went fuck off. And I had that today playing with you, Chris Hyde, in it. I don't really want to spoil it, but let's say the last bit what we played, in Lyle, you'll know the bit. Let's just say it's a kind of a nod to a certain kind of retro video game we see a lot less of these days. 2D, you're in the fantasy world of the two of the stored narratives, and you go off and do a side story which ends up in, say we say 2D.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
And that was me just like, what the fuck?
But also the fact that you were saying that and it took me so long is testament to how there is like 20 of those moments.
Yeah. There's just in what we've played, there's enough to quote different ones, and like I said, I hope it keeps going. Like it reminds me a bit, and it's weird to say this, but it reminds me of the kind of co-op like Lego games. Where you just dick, and I know it's because it's the split screen stuff as well. It probably was part of it, but you just dick around and have fun. And as irritating as it is when my wife, we do Harry Potter Lego and she fucking Leviosas me to shit and I just break and all that bollocks. But it's just having fun in a world.
For a moment there, I was like, in real life, and then my brain just absolutely broke for a minute. It's like, what's he talking about? The games. Sorry, I've had dental work done today, and there's a little, I think, a residual high or something going on. So.
Yeah, but it's games being fun. Like, and that sounds horrible because like I don't just play games. I'm like, I'm not having a good time. No, this is really depressing and shit.
Sometimes you just want someone to go, I've made something for you to just absolutely have a laugh and enjoy, and not go away and be like, well, I need to think about the deeper meaning of this. Sometimes you just want that, and I'm so glad it exists still.
Yeah, Mick, trust me, you will adore it. And based on what Lyle is trying not to give away, I'm guessing the standard continues.
I will say the standard continues. I guess the one thing I will say in terms of, I like the standard continues. Absolutely, 100%. Everything gameplay-wise. I think what you said about the deeper, not going away thinking about deeper meaning is very true, because I do think that like story and character-wise, it's like a bit painful.
I'm getting that vibe early on. The characters are like, I get it.
Like, come on now. It's like a child did. Like, this is the city character. This is the country character. Like, it feels a bit like it's written for like a 5-year-old.
People warm to each other. No one's that much of an arsehole to each other for that long, are they?
I was pleased which one I picked.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
I bet you picked the same as me.
Is that not a deliberate thing? Because the reason that the two characters in It Takes Two worked so well is because they were a married couple going through.
You are right.
So they had that animosity, and even when they got like a tender moment, they would remember and come back to the animosity sometimes.
I
wonder if they're trying to recapture that a little bit, but it's not easy to do with a dynamic of. I don't know what the women are in Split Fix, because I don't actually know what the story is. I've seen the trailer.
No, well, you'll find out pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it really. So,
but yeah, they basically don't know each other at the start, and I think the dynamic doesn't work quite the same way because in the other one, It Takes Two is almost like a silly rom-com, but in a like cartoony world. Whereas just in terms of, because there's also sort of like a sci-fi overall story as well that feels a little bit like, I'm being bludgeoned by this. I understand what's going on. It's a commentary.
I mean, I've not played that enough of it, but it's a commentary on AI, if I were to guess, and it's like it's very heavy-handedly a commentary.
Yes,
but
it was chiseled with a big hammer.
Yes, But I'm playing it, and I'm not there like going. But I'm just like, you know what? I get it. I don't care. I just don't care because everything else is just fun enough.
Like, I didn't love like It Takes Two purely because of that backdrop of the story. It was nice, but I wasn't going, "Oh, that ending is the best thing about that story."
But
or
It Takes
anything
Two
like
has
that.
a central theme. And inside that central theme, no matter what you think of the male and female characters that are falling out and not falling out, it's got that central theme of you kind of are going to always just be rooting for them to not fall out because of the kid.
Yeah,
It's got that central pull that you're like, I hope
I cared more about the book.
Oh, I hated the book. I hated the book.
I did too. Me and Mick both did, and you put it on a fucking list, and we were annoyed.
Yeah, I hated that book.
Well,
but
anyway,
I think it's also surprising that they did another IP. Like I expected after It Takes Two, and how good that was. And well, maybe I expected like, will they have the girl with them, and like not obviously 3 players, but like, will it go? You can't have It Takes Two. Can you?
I mean, like, I will say that I currently would say I prefer It Takes Two generally, but I also think that was lightning in a bottle. Like I think you said, Chris, you've never played anything like... I've played a platform game before. I've played a game that's that colourful before. But what it did, like there is not... I mean, I remember previewing that. Both, again, Chris White and I were previewing it. And I remember... I'll just say the section on the back of the planes early on. And I remember that moment being going, this is more than just another video game. This is something truly like... I have... this because... I don't think many people. Well, no, we can't get into just spoiling that. But yeah, Split Fiction, go and play it. Really, is the takeaway.
And I didn't want to sound negative because I will say it's fucking marvelous in every way.
Absolutely.
I had the one small complaint that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
I agree with you so far based on what I've played. But again, I'm sort of also like, you know, I don't care because you can preach to me as much as you want in a game like this, as long as you deliver every part of it, which you are so far. Right, listener question of the week. This will definitely not be a bloodbath. That's not the question or a statement. This is just how I feel about this question. Here it is, guys, and find it out. It comes in from Thomas McInnes, and he says, "What is your fizzy pop of choice?" He says, "I can't live without my cherry Pepsi Max."
Lilt. Great question.
Lilt doesn't exist anymore, Mick.
Nah, it's gone, mate. It's out of there. It's not a thing anymore.
It's gone, yeah.
What the fuck have I been drinking recently?
Fanta Tropical.
Fanta?
Although Aldi do one that is basically Lilt.
It is, isn't it? It's the same thing. I'm sure it is.
Looks like
it's
just the rebrand.
But yeah, Lilt's actually gone now. It's Fanta Tropical or something.
I used to like Lilt with Southern Comfort. I used to like that. That was a strange pairing, but very nice.
Dark Horse.
When I drank, I don't drink anymore. But yeah, that was good.
Even when he's
I'm all about
Apple.
Apple Tango is top tier for me.
I think there's too many flavours of Tango to pick Apple for me. Like the new strawberry one's really good. The Mango Tango is fucking fantastic.
Mango Tango just sounds...
Mango Tango is lethal
as well. I was just growing up as a kid and always I remember for some weird reason, whenever I finished swimming, Apple Tango every time.
So
is it like Passion Crush or something? There's like Tango are killing it at the minute.
Well, let me ask you an additional question, and we will get the proper answers. We will answer some, I promise. Apple Tango, is that now only available as sugar-free, and Orange Tango is only available as non-sugar-free?
No, you can still get sugar-free orange.
I think you can get all of them for all of them, I think.
Okay.
So in supermarkets, I never see what's the blackberry, the black currant one. There's like a I don't remember what it's called now, but it's a berry. It's like berry tango. That's always sugar-free. The cherry's always sugar-free. The mango's always
Cherry
sugar-free.
Tango?
Cherry Tango.
I've never
That's
seen
always
that.
sugar-free. Yeah. I've got some in there. I've got like 4 different flavours of Tango at all times in the house. But they're always sugar-free.
Right, I'm going to say I have to agree with him. For me, it is Cherry Pepsi Max. Apple Tango is a damn close second, but I never get him because the second we buy them, one of my sons is just like a fiend for Apple Tango. But so it's Cherry Pepsi Max because I think whenever you get bored or anything of any other flavours, I'm never bored of a Cherry Pepsi Max. So, Stephen, what is yours? Oh, sorry, go on, Mick. Go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, are you talking about, classic cola. Does anyone know what classic cola is? It's like Sainsbury's own brand. Coca-Cola.
Right.
It's just the best thing. It goes flat in a gnat's fart. Like you open the bottle,
sound like the best thing.
It fizzes and it's flat an hour later. But that little point between really, really fizzy and completely flat,
I don't want to have to time
They're like on the edge whilst drinking it.
Yeah, you've got to just
down
drink
it.
It's not about timing it. It's about getting the bottle of 2-litre classic cola and getting it gone. But it was really, really good for a cheap brand of cola.
See, I'm a fan of a can. I like a can.
Like chicken, though.
No.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite mix then? So I've gone cherry Pepsi Max. What's your favourite?
Me?
Yeah, your Mick. Yeah.
No, the other three mix in the fucking
I thought you said,
podcast.
what's your favourite mix? And I thought...
All right. Well, what's your favourite Mick? Mick. Mick,
my
what do you
favourite
like?
is, if Lilt doesn't exist anymore, I guess probably at the moment it's Mango Tango all the time.
That's so like we bought an 8-pack of that and it took a long time to get through it.
Really?
It's lethal.
I
It's
love
so
it.
sweet. It's lovely. It's like sherbet, drinking sherbet.
Even the sugar-free is like... but with
Oh
the,
yeah,
like,
I'm talking about the sugar-free. I can't
Yeah.
drink. No, I can't drink full.
well,
bottle.
we're in the same boat, aren't we? But yeah, but
Yeah,
no,
well,
but no,
fucking
but
sinking diabetic prick boat. Yeah. Right. So we've got Pepsi Max Cherry. We've got Mango Tango, which I never tire of saying. Stephen, what's yours?
Mine's going to be Apple Tango. It's basically a tie between that and Pepsi Max, which I drink way too much of.
Standard
Not
Pepsi
sponsored
Max.
by
It gets
Tango.
delivered every week by fucking Amazon, and we get through an entire 24-pack every week. That's
So you
bad.
just have a standing
That isn't
delivery.
great.
For...
Standing delivery for
You've
Pepsi
got
Max.
subscribe and save
Right?
on
Because
Pepsi
it's
Max.
cheaper than buying it from the supermarket.
but can
and
we-
it
can
just
we-
turns up.
Can we focus more on the amount he just
Yeah,
said?
I don't know.
it
for a
wasn't.
week?
Sorry, it wasn't. Yeah, to be
You
clear,
can
I
get
wasn't like,
24
oh my
cans
god,
of Tango for £7 if you go in the right shop.
No,
I mean, that's
again, I
you-
still
you
think
direct
the
me to
price
these
here
shops.
isn't the issue.
yeah,
What,
we're
the
still.
24 There are 3 of us getting through it.
Yeah,
There's
but
4 in
24
my
a week.
house.
That's 8 each.
Yeah, I've been known
I
to
think
do at
that's
least
all
a
right.
couple in a night. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do maybe 2 a day sometimes.
You're drinking sugar-free, so... Yeah,
So it's
whatever.
it's fine.
basically
It's
water.
free.
The acid
It's
isn't good for you.
It's
As-
practically a
water.
health drink, isn't it? It's fruity water with a
Yeah.
bit of...
Right. Well,
My
listen,
fucking dentist wife will sorely disagree with
I
that.
was just going to say your wife.
But,
cannot-
Yeah, I
but
was
she's
gonna
just as
say.
bad, so she can't say shit.
Okay, so far, so we've got cherry Pepsi Max, Tango Apple. We've got I can hear her in the background. We've got Tango Apple, and Mango Tango. Chris Hyde, where are you going?
So, up until very recently, in this last few months, I didn't really drink much fizzy drink. And then Steve came to my house,
Yeah.
right?
Sorry.
And I know, and you, to be fair, and you both sort of
yeah.
requested cans because I'm the host.
You did
I'm the
offer.
hostess with the mostess. So I asked, said,
Very
what
good
do you
of you.
want? And the two requests were cherry Pepsi Max, and then you bought sugar-free Dr. Pepper, Steve.
did.
Because you can't arrive at a house without a gift.
That's very nice.
Refers to you as the man with the chocolate. So I fluctuate between
They all
those
refer
now.
to him like that as well.
They
yeah.
started off as just
There's
they stayed
pictures
there
of
'cause
him.
I didn't drink them, and now I drink both of them. So if there's going to be a winner here, otherwise of 5 recommendations of different things, I'd probably side with cherry Pepsi Max. But I have just bought another crate of that. Crate 8-pack because I'm not fucking weird of the sugar-free Dr. Pepper, which I think is really nice.
Dr.
It is
Pepper.
I'll go
good.
down B&M and buy 3 24-packs. Because it's
I
like
don't need 72 cans of fucking
72
pop.
cans for £24 of different flavours. Sugar-free, mango
And-
tango, cherry tango, strawberry crush.
And
Bring her home.
and any of the
That'll be
negative of that is
Of me
you're
carrying.
offsetting by the fact that you carry that many cans, which is so much exercise.
Yeah,
That's
there
a
you go,
lot
I
of
suppose.
weight.
Yeah.
Well, Lyle, what's yours?
So, I don't know if I've ever revealed this deep dark secret before, but for me, fizzy pop is like heroin. Is my heroin? Is what fizzy pop
Oh.
is.
So you inject it.
I inject
Oh,
it into my
interesting.
He
He
veins.
just
just
fizz it up.
tries to avoid it. Are you trying to say you
No,
avoid
I-
it? if you
I'll
can?
get it in me now.
I sort of have to try and avoid it a bit,
Can't
but I
face the
don't do
world.
very well at it
That's my
because
crisps. That's
I love
crisps
it.
for me.
But for me, that's fizzy pop above anything else. Like
Which
when
one,
we,
though? There's got to be one in
when it was
particular.
in
Gotta be
the-
a favourite, right?
He's
There is a
telling his
favourite, don't worry.
backstory, Mick. Shut up.
but there would be a time where I'd like if we'd have a weekly shop booked on it was during the sort of like pandemic era of you can't
During
go to
the
the
fucking
shops.
war.
During the war with the rationing, where I would order in like 8 2-litre bottles, and that'd be in the weekly shop, and that'd be just for me, and it would last we wouldn't last the whole week.
16
Makes me look
litres.
good.
I had
does,
a mate
yeah.
who used to drink fizzy pop like that, and it went badly wrong. And that's a story I'm not
Do
willing
you
to
get?
tell on this podcast.
Well, I know you get the shits. Why am I asking that question?
Yeah, I do. So it's still
As long as you're
yes.
not
I
drinking
guess.
white lightning like that, you'll probably be all right.
Yeah, it's
So-
fine.
okay, so you drink a lot of. So you're a connoisseur.
I guess I'm a connoisseur, but like, if a connoisseur like just like put it all in a trough and
If you
just
if you now turn around and say like
Double-handed
Diet
it.
Coke, I'm gonna be really
Yeah,
pissed
what was
off.
the pop, Lyle? Come on.
no, it is going to be quite a boring answer, I'm afraid. In that I just really
Fucking
love
R
orange.
White's lemonade, wasn't it?
I just like
White's
orange
lemonade's
Fanta.
Oh,
I just really
it's
like
great.
Orange
It is
Fanta
really
is
good. That's my drink, and I love
Remember
all the
Mountain Dew?
Fantas.
Do you remember Mountain Dew? How good Mountain Dew was?
Mountain Dew, what do you mean? It's not gone, is it?
It is, yeah, because you can only get like
Is
the
it?
weird energy drink
I
version.
mean, I thought it was shit
Mountain Dew.
anyway, but like, I didn't know it got
I like
Mountain Dew
sugar-free
was
Iron
amazing.
Brew.
Oh,
Yeah,
Iron Brew is
you can't
great.
get normal
Got
Iron Brew
Corby
anymore, can
connection,
you?
so like we. It's
Yeah, I live
second
4 miles
Scotland,
from
so-
Corby, so it's just there's a pipeline runs through. We just
Yeah,
gotta tap into it.
yeah, just tap it. Yeah,
What's the general consensus on root beer?
Oh, I love
I've
root
never
beer.
really had it, and when I have,
fizzy.
I'm not sure I like it.
They used to sell it at McDonald's. You remember that?
Yeah,
Fucking
man.
hell,
Back in the
I'm
day, that's where I got addicted to it back because like I used to get that all the time, and now it's so hard to get. It can't be my favorite anymore because it's
Get
just too
root beer
fucking
jelly
hard.
beans, and I always get a bit disappointed when I have them.
Yeah.
It's just the smell of like TCP, man. I love that shit. It's so good.
It is amazing.
Well, what can I say except thanks, Thomas? There's a couple of our members of the podcast who have just relapsed by the sounds of it. So
Yeah.
that's it. If you want to hear more questions, and there's quite a few of them, you can go to the bonus podcast, which you can find on, if you're looking at the video section, it is just here, patreon.com/lootlevelchill. That's the name of our website, lootlevelchill.com. You can subscribe to us at Loot Level Chill on YouTube. You can follow us on things like Blue Sky. Guess what? Loot Level Chill. Pretty simple to find us all. But the Patreon is the most important one because you get the extra content and stuff like that. We give you some behind-the-scenes stuff. There'll be another one of them coming up soon, hopefully, where we show you some stuff that goes on, like at the gaming events that we go to get the previews and stuff. But also, yeah, bonus pod, sort of there-ish, patreon.com/lootlevelchill. Thank you to Steve, Chris,
Cheers, mate.
Mick, and Lyle, of course. No one's speaking anymore. It's fine. They've forgotten.
I know,
I know you did, to be fair.
We allow you your denouement. So
Yeah, man.
Oh, thank you. That's ever so kind. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for another cracking loot level chat. See you next week.
Latest,
Bye.
latest.